Love you, love you, love you. Merva here on this beautiful autumn evening here in Sydney, Australia. I wanted to talk about perfection this evening. This is something that I have been thinking about as I'm preparing this Saturday to start a 10-week course on radiating your love. And what are all the messages that are in the way of us really radiating our love? Most of all to ourselves, about ourselves, as well as in our relationships with others. One of the biggest culprits for me in my journey that I really had to work on for quite some many years was perfectionism. Many people would not say, if you ask them, are you perfect? I don't know anybody who would say, yes, I am. Maybe some people do say that. For me, what it was, I had such intensely, deeply seated belief and feeling inside that I was bad one way or another. So in order to function in life, in order to function with that incredibly negative message inside myself about myself, I tried to be perfect. Even though it's a complete illusion and fallacy, that's what I was gearing at. So that nobody could say I wasn't, this wasn't right, that wasn't right, this wasn't good enough, smart enough, fast enough, bright enough, blah, 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 blah. Whatever it is, enough. I tried to make sure everything I would get right as much as I could. I tried to have everything under control. At work, I would meet every single deadline. I would check everything for accuracy, 16 times if I needed to. And sometimes I did because I was so insecure inside. And I didn't want to let that show. I didn't want anybody to know about that. So deep down, I had this incredibly low self-esteem, lack of faith in myself, lack of trust, lack of belief in myself. And yet externally, I was putting out this incredibly hard message, and very rigidly so. So for years, I spent time unraveling this message and letting go of many of these needs and drives, so-called being perfect or getting it perfect. I had to learn to let go of control a lot. I had to learn to allow myself to be late and not feel like I was going to be, mortified, die for it, ridiculed, being told I was in trouble one way or another. I had to learn to be sick and stay at home and not go to work because I would never allow myself that either. So there were many things like this that I had to learn, as I learned to let go of control, and I learned that I was okay exactly as I was, in that perfect imperfection. Today I am so relaxed that I'm sometimes too far the other way. But hey, who is perfect? What is right? What is wrong when it comes to things like this? So to allow ourselves some room to make mistakes, that's one of the things I really had to learn, was to allow myself to make mistakes. Because that was the biggest driver that I was trying to avoid, not to make mistakes. Today, I know that I make mistakes every day. I make mistakes with people all of the time. I've learned I cannot get it right by everybody all the time. I still try. It doesn't mean that I don't try. It doesn't mean that you let everything go. It's just the charge behind it is what we gotta look at, what we gotta release and transform, let go of, so that there can be love, so that there can be acceptance. Acceptance is the key to everything. So I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to invite you to take this journey with me to reflect upon some of these things. We will cover some of this in the 10-week course so that we can learn to accept ourselves exactly as we are. That's the first step in loving ourselves and loving others, is acceptance of what is and being perfectly okay with that. In fact, embracing that wholeheartedly, and in this way have freedom in our hearts, have inner peace, have joy and delight in our hearts and in our lives. Let me know how this resonates with you. Let me know what your experiences are. What have you learned about yourself and these kinds of things? I'd love to hear from you. Bye for now.